Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Stephen Kellogg, and I'm here at an undisclosed location.
Well, we'll start with a man who we are always happy to welcome back on the mountain stage. This is his 6th visit.
Really excited. Stephen Kellogg is with us.
Singer-songwriter Stephen Kellogg has shared it.
It goes.
Back in the day, he used to do 275 days a year on the road.
Live at the Bay Studios with Stephen Kellogg.
I'd never heard your music before. I really loved it.
The thing is, I have been kicking around here for almost 20 years now, you know.
I know what you're saying.
He does what he does best, which is mine his own life to come up with some truths. Paul Simon does it too. A lot of great writers do it, and I think he's right up there with them.
I'm not a guy that gives up. I never give up.
Sold out show tonight at Wolf Trap. Please welcome our friend, Mr. Stephen Kellogg.
I go la 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 la.
Please welcome Mr. Stephen Kellogg.
This is the first tour that I've ever done stand-up, and it's the first week of that tour. And so I realized that's a little bit like going to a restaurant and being told, like, the chef's like, I've never really cooked before.
Comedy, a good laugh, you only get a few a year, and when they happen, you can't stop laughing. I mean, maybe other people laugh more, but to really laugh feels like as good as a soul can feel.
Look, man, you don't not play in the NFL just because you're not going to be Tom Brady. You know, sometimes we think you got to be the best. But what other career does anybody go into where you're supposed to be the best? It's like, what if you're just pretty good, you know? Like, you do all right. Like, and that's kind of where I'm at with my work and what led me to want to, you know, just, I stayed with it. But it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Doesn't mean the grind doesn't hurt. And I'm not like complaining to you because I know that you're in the same boat, most of you. And if you're not, screw you.
Everybody's struggling in some way, you know, and realizing that, I want to speak to that. That's interesting to me. And it makes me feel less alone in all the stuff I'm going through.
During the pandemic, I really wanted to, I just had never been home in 20 years, you know? I never went home. And I kept thinking I might at some point, but the way that my career went, it was like just enough to keep me in the game. I meet like young kids and I'm just like, yeah, man, put your head down and just work until you're like sick to your stomach, and maybe in 22 years you can be at the supper club like me, you know? No, it's cool. It's good. But so I liked being home. I liked getting enough sleep. I wasn't as much of a dick as I thought I was because I just realized I'm generally sleep deprived is the thing. So, you know, and I know that people suffered during that time, but I also felt like this is great. Like if the neighbor's having a party you don't want to go to, you're just like, you know, we would, but we're locking it down right now. And then if your buddy calls with like Celtics tickets, you're like, you gotta live your life, you know? Pandemic excuses were great.
This is 1.0, this show, this tour I'm doing right now, of trying to mix music and stand-up without making the music silly or the stand-up musical. I mean, I did my first set at a comedy club and I got handed $50, and it was, on the one hand, it was the greatest $50 I ever made. On the other hand, I went home, I'm like, all the guys you could have married.
We went to some concerts this summer too. We went and saw Bryan Adams. Great concert. It was me and Pat, actually, and our wives, and we went, and halfway through, the girls go, man, he really takes care of himself. I'm like, that feels pointed, so, okay, whatever. We look up when Bryan Adams was born. He's born in 1960. So then, he plays Summer of '69. And I'm like, wait, so he was 9 years old in the summer of '69? He was on his mama's porch. It all starts to make sense. He was at the drive-in movie theater. And this Jody, who was in a band with a bunch of elementary school people, she's like, I'm quitting, I'm getting married. Like, this guy's like, I almost just couldn't. This is Bryan Adams. He has sold out Madison Square Garden. He's won countless Grammys. He's probably had a threesome. Like, he's done all these things, and the best days of his life were when he's like, before double digits was the best.
I think I could do a special, and I really hope I get that opportunity. I'm looking around for stuff to watch on Hulu and Netflix and Amazon and all the places. I'm looking for soul-fulfilling, funny humor that is going to hit what I need. And we all like different stuff, but I know that I could do a good job with that.
The first 2 days of this tour, my father-in-law, he's 80, he came on the road with us. He said, I want to come to the shows, and I'm like, I'm going to be talking about sex. I have jokes about him. Like, it's just, it's rough, you know? And for so many years, people would hear that I had these 4 kids, these 4 girls, and they'd say, oh, I feel bad for you. And I would laugh because I know it's sort of a generational thing. There's people that are like, oh, daughters. So I hope you have a dog. I'm like, I have a cat who's on Prozac if we're talking about this, and it's a she, but I would laugh, but then I realized that they were watching, you know, and I didn't want there to be any ambiguity about how I felt about being a father of daughters, you know. And I said, girls, when I was little, I always wanted to be surrounded by women when I grew up. And I will be more specific in the next life, but I'm really glad you're here.
You know, you want your life to mean something, man. If you can help a person, like, that feels really good. And comedians go out and they make people laugh. To do it well is a magic trick of such high order.
Another thing that I think can tamper with a good marriage is body pillows. There's a lot of pillows on the bed, and I gave Key a back rub the other night for like 15 minutes, and then I was like, this is a pillow. Just thinking I'm being all thoughtful, scratching away. No.
I guess in closing, one thing that I noticed about what's going on right now is, like, if you want to write a book, you write a book. If you want to do stand-up, you do stand-up. If you want to write a song, you write a song. And if you can write from, like, a pure place of what do I have to say and why am I doing this, like, it's thrilling, and, you know? And I just have to believe good things are going to come from that. Not just for me, for all of us.
Tonight's show was amazing. I really enjoyed how he kind of wove the comedy into what he was doing with his music, and I've been a fan for a long time.
I didn't expect to laugh so much at the show.
I thought it was funny. It was good.
Steven is very funny. I welcome a show in the future with music and comedy.
Hey, sit down and stand up. Awesome show, great time. You laugh, you cry, you know, it gets the emotions going. Just a wonderful experience. Everybody needs to come out and see this show.
I would tell all my friends to go see Stephen Kellogg.
We've got kids too, so we're like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, he's spot on.
I think I've seen Stephen maybe 15, 20 times, and sit down, stand up was probably the most impactful to me personally. There's times I had to sit down to kind of collect my emotions, and other times I wanted to stand up and cheer.
My heart feels full when I see Stephen Kellogg.
He's got the chops for stand-up, for sure. And the fact he's a great musician on top of that only adds to it.
I really enjoyed it. His comedy was fresh and fun and relatable.
Stephen, thanks a lot. I got what I needed. Thank you.